Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review presents Let's Talk Houston Rockets. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Hope you all are doing very well out there. Space Age chimed in minutes ago. Thank you very much. Should be interesting. Looking forward to y'all's thoughts on the main topic of tonight's show of LTHR. Reminder and a note, support the Houston Roundball Review. Smash that like button, but also buy you some merch, buy you a cap, buy you a mug, buy you a shirt, buy you a tank top. Spread the word about this show. Tell your friends, tell your Rocket friends, your friends who are Rocket fans about this show, how we do things differently here on this show, these live stream shows, talking Rockets, your favorite team. Click on that $sign. You can do the super chat, super sticker, and you get some added attention here on the show as well. At some point, hopefully this summer, this month, July, August, whatever, may do more shows. May ultimately like to become a daily show, not just Rockets daily show. So sports, of course, mainly basketball, because that's my area. But that's the goal. That's the plan. So if you help make that possible, let's do it. But tonight, theme of the show, main topic of the show, is give a little scouting reports on Collin Murray-Boyles. Rockets picked 10th. I'm not sure the Rockets are going to stay at 10. They may move down. That seems more likely than moving up in the draft. It takes place later this month. But a couple of mock drafts have Collin at 10 to the Rockets. One has him at 9, right ahead of the Rockets. And one, I'm not sure what these folks are thinking, unless the mock draft they did was a year ago. I don't know. Had him as the first pick in the second round. He's going to be a first-round pick, barring some red flags on his medical report. He's going to be a first-round pick, in my opinion. But get into it. If you don't know, you're going to find out about Mr. Murray-Boyles, young man. Now, 6'8", 240. And, of course, that's roughly 6'8" in shoes. He's about 6'6.5" without shoes, but you don't play basketball without shoes. Sophomore, South Carolina. 16.8 points per game, 58.6% from the floor, 26.5% from three. So he's not a great three-point shooter. A lot of his work was done inside, in the paint, around the rim. About 71% free throw line shooter, 8.3 boards, 2.4 assists, also 2.4 turnovers. So his assist to turnover ratio is 1-to-1. Not ideal, but he's a sophomore. He's a young man. I think he turns 20 later this month, something like that. Murray-Boyles, this is via Draft Express. Jonathan Gavoni. Jonathan states, Murray-Boyles has been somewhat polarizing for teams drafting in this range due to the extreme contrast between his strengths and his weaknesses, which make him a better fit for certain situations. So that's really the topic of the discussion for you guys to kick around. Will he be a good fit for the Rockets with Şengün? But let's discuss it. Give me your thoughts in the comments as we're watching up. Thriller, how you doing, brother? Analytics heavy teams are intrigued, and that's kind of the Rockets, are intrigued by how well he rates in their draft models, thanks to his unique blend of passing, free throw drawing, finishing prowess, and defensive event creation, especially at his age. Others are concerned about his lack of size and three-point shooting prowess. He's not a 5. He's kind of borderline 5 and small ball 5. But as well as the fact that his Gamecocks at South Carolina, that team struggled in SEC play. I think they won like 3 games, I think, this past season. Being overmatched in terms of talent. With measurements similar to those of Golden State's Draymond Green and Trace Jackson-Davis, hung on long arms, Murray-Boyles will need to find the right fit with a team looking to tap into his defensive versatility and playmaking. as well as a plan for improving his shooting, which did not look encouraging in combine drills. So just that summary from Jonathan Givony from Draft Express. What are your thoughts on what I stated, what I read via Jonathan's statements summary of Collin Murray-Boyles? Give me your thoughts. Thrillo has to watch some tape on him. I haven't seen much on him. Didn't see. I mean, they didn't. And I was watching the SEC. I was watching Florida, Kentucky, Auburn, Bama. I didn't watch much of South Carolina. But fortunately, the Rafael and Ime and their staff, that's their job. That's their scouting department. That's their job to do. But what do you think about what I've read so far? Because I'm going to give you more info from another source and another breakdown, their summary of young Collin Murray-Boyles. All right. This is via NBA Draft Net. Thrillo, when you see this, when you see the NBA comparison, is Danny Fortson or Grant Williams? What is your initial reaction? Danny Fortson, Grant Williams. When I say, according to NBADraft.net, their NBA comparison for Collin Murray-Boyles is Danny Fortson, probably the low end, and then Grant Williams on the high end. Does that excite you? Does that disappoint you? Does that concern you? Thrillo says, I guess it depends. All depends on what the Suns think of him. Thrillo says about the comparison, that doesn't move the needle for me. Didn't for me either. But to his strengths, a physically mature and mentally tough forward with a throwback game. Measured at 6'7", about 6'6.5", like I said, in his stocking feet. But plays bigger thanks to his 7'0" wingspan and his strong frame. Shows a lot of determination on the court and a desire and willingness to work on his game. Plays with intensity and effort on both ends. Uses his strength and footwork to isolate and overpower slower or smaller defenders, showing the ability to beat opponents off the dribble in face-up situations. He shows solid touch around the rim and in the mid-post, good feel for the game with above-average passing instincts from the high or low block. Physical defender who doesn't shy away from contact and is willing to mix it up in the paint. Active hands defensively, averaging 1.5 steals per game. Competes with a high motor and brings toughness to the floor every night. Born June 10th, 2005, so turned 20 next Tuesday. He's one of the youngest prospects in the draft. A good passer for a post player. So Thrillo, do those strengths move the needle for you at all? Does that intrigue you more so if the Rockets decide to stay at 10 and take a flyer on Collin Murray-Boyles if he is available at 10? Some mock drafts have him going a little earlier, like 8 or 9. And I think I saw today, Duke big man Collin Murray-Boyles would be available for the Rockets at 10. So if he's there and Collin Murray-Boyles is there, for me, it's no brainer. I'm taking Collin Murray-Boyles from Duke. I think he has a higher upside. Thrillo says, no, those strengths still the same. Doesn't move the needle for him. All right. Well, now to his weaknesses. At 6'7" and with a 7-foot wingspan, undersized as a post player and lacks great lift to compensate for his size. Lacks consistent outside shooting touch, hitting just 26.5% from 3 and 70.7% from 3-throw line. And at the top of there, above that, you see his standing vertical leap, 29.5 inches. So he's not an explosive leaper. In the running start, leaper 34.5, max vertical. So he's not an elite jumper. But perimeter efficiency remains a concern, particularly in pick and pop or spot up situations. That's not an ideal fit for the Rockets. His limited vertical pop and lateral quickness may impact his ability to guard quicker forwards or space the floor at the next level. Thurlow says, I would go with the big guy, talking about Duke's big man, Malawach, especially if they lose Adams. Thurlow adds, Rockets have enough 6'8", 6'9" guys already. I kind of agree with you there as well. Other folks, I know y'all are watching on YouTube. Don't be shy to comment. Give me your thoughts. Give us your thoughts. Share your thoughts. You're part of the family. You're part of the discussion. You're part of the Let's Talk Houston Rockets family. So give your thoughts. Share your thoughts on what you're thinking. Terry, chime in. How are you doing? Good to hear from you. All the way from New Zealand. What are your thoughts on young Collin Murray-Boyles, Terry? Next, more weaknesses about Collin. Doesn't project as a true stretch 4 or 5 without further development of his shooting mechanics. Turnover prone at times, as I touched on it, 2.4 turnovers per game. When forced to create against better athletes. Well, the NBA is full of better athletes. He's still developing his offensive polish beyond bully ball tactics. May be somewhat of a positional tweener at the next level. Hit 9 for 36 from 3 as a sophomore, showing some expansion in his game, yet hitting just 26.5 from 3 as a sophomore. A lot of his potential is based on projecting his shot improves. However, there is no guarantee of that. While his passing is good, he won't be confused, Terry, for a Draymond Green type that can moonlight as a point forward and run the team as a secondary ball handler or in the role of a point. According to hoopmath.com, 75% of his shots came at the rim, and he converted on just 2/3 of those at 66.7% on that. So he got a lot of shots around the rim, and he made 2/3 of them. So all of that, Terry, Thrillo, other members of the Let's Talk Houston Rockets family, does that sway you? Yes. I want the Rockets to draft Collin Murray-Boyles if he's there at 10. Or no, hell no, Kris. I do not want the Rockets to draft Collin Murray-Boyles if he is there at 10. Thrillo adds, Rockets need a Draymond or better, not a Draymond light. Terry, what say you on that? Let's see if we can get this in there, get this going as well. What do you think, Terry? You typed it up first before I read it. You stated he was a Draymond type player. Thrillo states Rockets need a Draymond or better, not a Draymond light. What do you think? Is he a Draymond? Is he a Draymond light? Solo, how you doing? Good to hear from you. He adds this. I feel like the Rockets could just trade down and still get Murray-Boyles. How far down? Oh, and in case you could not tell, when I stated earlier about an outlet, a mock draft, an NBA draft publication, their mock draft, they had Collin Murray-Boyles at 31. It's NBADraft.net. They had him at 31. Last time I checked, it was him at 31. So that's the first pick of the second round. He might not be a lottery pick. If he's late lottery, I don't believe he'll be around in the second round, though. But like I said, barring medical history and red flags that way, I think he's a late first rounder. Rich Base, how are you doing? Thank you for joining the discussion. We're talking about Collin Murray-Boyles. Read off scouting reports about him. Thrillo, here's right this. kind of already have that in Tari. Tari is probably a better athlete than Collin. How do I feel about what KD talk? KD talk to the Knicks for Cat? that talk? No worries, Space. Say no worries at all. I think you said your work, right? What you said? Yeah, don't get in trouble at work, man. Don't lose your job. Don't lose your job over this. We're going to do more of these shows, so don't worry about that. A new name right here. Join the discussion. Thank you. Tandem Knights, don't be a stranger. Cedric Coward seems promising. He did all the measurables. Someone's going to take a flyer on him. He won't be probably not at 10, but great athlete, great leaper, wingspan, great wingspan, all of that. But his lack of game film or game video or whatever you want to call it now, the 21st century, against top tier talent is probably a concern for many teams. But a team like OKC, who's got loads of picks and doesn't need him to do much for a while, would not shock me if Sam Presti said, yeah, let's go ahead and draft him. High upside on him. Sure, I mean, we're great right now as it is. Won't matter if we miss on him. So whatever. Who you talking about? Collin Murray-Boyles or Cedric Coward? Cedric Coward. He was at what was it? Like a D2 for a while. Then Washington State entered the portal. Was going to go to Duke, and then his great performance at the combine. They're like, nah, man, you don't have to go to Duke. Somebody drafted in the first round, so he stayed in the draft. Do I think they'll keep the 10th pick? No, I don't. I think they're going to probably trade down. I think they will trade down. And no, hey, Tandem Knights. I said Sam Presti because I think I saw a mock draft of someone I trust stated or had Sam Presti drafting Cedric Coward for the same rationale that I used. They got a lot of picks, future picks. I mean, hell, they don't need somebody having an immediate impact to take a flyer on Cedric Coward. Why not? Thrillo, he doesn't miss a lot. I mean, I believe he's the best GM in the NBA. More hits, hell of a lot more hits than misses. Solo wants the two other three Dookies, Malawach or Concanipple. Malawach might be sliding a little bit, so he might be there at 10. Concanipple, depending on how he's done in the workouts, for teams. One of them might be around, might be available at 10. Might be. So we got 3 weeks roughly until the first round. So there's a chance that one of them could be there at 10. Rich Base says the Rockets need a point guard. So Rich, you're not buying into the Rockets' belief that Reed Sheppard is the answer and that Reed Sheppard has a high ceiling and he's going to get more time and more minutes next season, which will make Aaron Holiday obsolete. So Reed Sheppard is going to be that guy. Rich, you don't buy that? You're not buying that? Anybody buying that here in the discussion tonight? Are any of you as high on Reed Sheppard as the Rockets apparently are? Let me know. Don't be shy. Let me know. Terry says Carter Bryant might be the pick. Now he's really more of a guy the Rockets already have already. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's not a low post player. I mean, at least Collin can score around the rim. Thrillo states Reed needs to show confidence. Tandem is high on Reed Shepherd. Terry believes in Reed, says he's a point guard for next season. Rich Base says the verdict is still out. So we got some different opinions on Reed. Tandem says he just needs more reps and confidence, which he might get from more reps. Yeah, I read what Eco wrote, and he also, part of that was he mentioned in discussions that the Suns have begun to lower their asking price for what they will accept for KD in return, but it's not known what that lowering of asking price now is. And Kelly also stated that Steven Adams, the Rockets want to keep Steven Adams. They understand that he might get better offers, more money from other teams. They hope he returns. Fred VanVleet wants to stay with the Rockets. Most likely he will take a pay cut, but get more years on his next contract. But Kelly also stated the possibility that the Rockets exercise their team option on Fred's last year of his contract at $44.9 million, because that salary would be very compatible in a blockbuster trade. So who could that be? Who could that be? Rich Base, Reed will have to take a major leap. Agreed. The Rockets are ready to win. He just doesn't know if he can just yet. Solo wants Rafael Stone to bleed the Suns dry. What will Matt Ishbia accept? Will Matt Ishbia blink if they are already beginning to or have begun to lower their trade demands for Kevin Durant? I wonder if part of that is because KD has said, these are the teams I want to go to. That's it. I'm not going in. I don't want to go anywhere else. This coming contract, this coming season is the last year of his deal. So Kevin could say, you trade me where I don't want to go. I'll just be a free agent next summer. So I'll be a 1-year rental. That could be part of it as well. KD could be saying, I want to go to the Rockets. Make it happen. So that could lower the Suns' leverage a bit. Tandem Knight states, I hope I am speaking for most of the Rockets fan base when I said I am tired of getting washed up players at the end of their career. He also doesn't want them to sell the farm for Giannis. Fair? Y'all agree with that? They need shooting. Giannis requires shooting, which they don't have. Big Thrillo states the Rockets should just tweak, not overhaul. Just because you swing for the fences doesn't mean it works. I think most of y'all agree on that. Solo states he has more faith in Reed than Cam. Thrillo states the extension part with KD scares him. Well, hey, like I say, KD wants one more contract. And it's going to be a nice, hefty contract. But we're not going to be paying it. And the salary cap is going to go up with the next media rights deal. It's going to go up a lot. But with that, does the fact that the salary cap is going to increase by, what are the projections, 10% the next few years, make you feel better about KD getting a huge contract, a big salary for 2 more years? Terry says he'd take Quentin Grimes. I think Quinn would love to be a Rocket. I believe Daryl Moore is going to try everything he can to keep Quentin in Philly. Thrillo says regarding KD and the big contract extension, let somebody else do it. All right. Well, y'all don't seem high on Collin Murray-Boyles. Thrillo agrees with you, Terry, about Quentin Grimes. Quentin wants to get paid. I'll say that. He wants to get paid. He doesn't have a lot of options with teams who have salary cap space, excuse me. But he wants to get paid. Daryl Morey has said that he wants to keep Quentin. That might not be, it's probably easier said than done, but Daryl Morey knows the ways around the cap. Tandon Knights, the Rockets need shooting. It's been their main problem for a while now. Coward offers that possibility while fitting Udoka's defensive identity. If Reed can come around, we will be looking good. KD averaged 26 points per game this season, so he doesn't look that washed to me. He wouldn't have to carry a heavy load with the Rockets. I mean, if he's here for a total of 3 more years, could he help the Rockets win another championship in those 3 years? One time in those 3 years. Would it take more than $15 million a year for Grimes? And he can get it that way. Get paid, get a lot of money, and lose. Quinn could do that if he wants. We'll see. I don't believe he wants to do that. I think he wants the best of both worlds, win and get paid. See if I can ask around a bit about what he's looking for. But we'll see. Quentin Grimes, he'd be a fit. Tandon Knights, if the Rockets, if the Rockets sign Quentin Grimes or obtain Quentin Grimes, if it was a trade, sign and trade, I'm sure they could do that based on his status. Would that please you? Would Quentin Grimes on the Rockets make you happy? Solo is concerned about Kevin Durant's contract extension. Tandem Knights, KD could be a rental. It all comes down to what we have to give up. What we have to give up to get him. Everybody seems to be agreeing the extension is a terrifying proposition. Our young core will need to get paid around the same time. Agreed. No doubt. So that is a great point. Excellent point. So you are correct in that, and that is something that Rockets definitely have to Tandon Knights likes Quentin Grimes. Everybody likes Q. Q.Grimes. Solo. Do y'all agree with this comment from Solo? That the Rockets have to keep Bari and Tari. Do y'all agree with that? Solo, would you be okay with one or the other if it meant the Rockets got Quentin Grimes? I'm just throwing it out there. If the Rockets were able to replace Cam with Quentin Grimes, would that please everyone here on tonight's show? I don't know if that's being discussed. I have no idea. I'm just putting it out there for discussion. Let me know. What do you think? Solo? Would that make you happy? Would that satisfy you? Cam and his reps would like, they say they would like to stay with the Rockets. Okay. I don't see where he's going to get increased playing time next year. Solo, Grimes would be nice for the Rockets. Thrillo, Cam for Grimes. I'll drive him to the airport. Oh, well, y'all put out there in the universe and see what can happen. See if that can happen. See if we can make that happen. See if the Rockets and the Sixers. But If it was a trade, if it had to be a trade, do y'all think Daryl Morey would agree to that? A trade with the Rockets? Do y'all think Morey would do that? Would he really want the Rockets to get Quentin Grimes in exchange for Cam Whitmore, even though both would be going home to their college where they play college ball? That'd be kind of interesting. Would if it were possible, and like I said, I don't know about the trade machine or anything like that, because I'm pretty sure other things have to be brought into it. I was going to ask you, would y'all be okay if the Rockets tossed in a pick with Cam Whitmore if it brought back Quentin Grimes in return? I think y'all are saying yes. Yeah. Let's see what I can find out. I got a call to make. Depends on who the Sixers draft at 3. Yeah, I mean, based on who they draft at 3, that might cause Quentin and his rep to say, "Yeah, I don't want to battle with another player here with the 3rd pick in the draft for minutes. So yeah, I'm out of here. I don't want to be here." Or Morey might say, with the 3rd pick, package that with a current player like Paul George for someone else around the league for immediate help, since the East is wide open next year. What do you think about that? But who knows? Leonard, how are you doing? Leonard wants LaMelo. For who? For who? LaMelo exchange for who? Thrillo honestly doesn't like Cam's mentality. That's a big gripe. That's a big reason for his problems. His mindset. His talent is off the charts. Trey Murphy, I don't see Trey going anywhere. I don't see the Pelicans giving him up. He's part of whatever core they have, whatever you want to call it. He could be part of their core. Not much of a core, but he might be it. And then Trey Murphy for who on the Rockets? Some good discussion here. More and more folks are chiming in. Appreciate that. But I'm going to wrap it up right there. Cut it to around 30 minutes because, like I said, my plan, my hope for this month of July is to try to start getting to, during the week, weeknights, doing a show every day, every night. Around this time, probably because I still got to produce a colleague show on Tuesdays and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before this. I'm not really done until around 8:30. So that's the goal. So like I said, start of the show. Spread the word about that. Tell your friends. Support the Roundball Review different ways. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Click on a $sign as well, and or with a super chat, super sticker. Click on that shop button so you can buy some merch that way. Cap, mug, shirt, tank top. Different ways to do that as well. But that's the goal. Making one more push here for these final 7 months of 2025. And we'll keep going forward from there. Oh, we're going to talk about it. If the Rockets make a trade, we're going to talk about it here, unlike anybody else. We do things differently here on the Let's Talk Houston Rockets shows. You all know that. So if that happens, Tandem said it right. Yeah, I put it out there because I forgot who the person was who was kind of high on Collin Murray-Boyles more than I was. So that was another reason why I did the scouting report for him. Just doesn't seem to be a great fit for the Rockets, honestly. Shot-wise, none of that, Tweener, 4, not explosive leaper, all those kind of things. Not a three-point shooter. Mehmet, Fred, Landell, 25 picks for KD. Last question for you. You got the last word. Would you want the Rockets to sign Kevin Durant to a contract extension? Majority of everyone else on here does not. That is the concern about trading for Kevin Durant, for the Rockets trading for Kevin Durant, is signing him to a contract extension for 2 or 3 more years. Because the Rockets' young core is going to get paid as well in a year or two. So that could be a problem. So what do you think on that as we wrap it up here on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review presents Let's Talk Houston Rockets? Probably going to do it again tomorrow. Get you guys thoughts on the finals that start on Thursday, game 1 Thursday, OKC, Indiana. So same time tomorrow, 9 o'clock Central Time for the next edition of Let's Talk Houston Rockets. Spread the word. Tandem Nights, thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Appreciate you and your insight and questions and comments on the show. Come again. Don't be a stranger. And we're going to do it in a little less than 24 hours. So wrapping it up, as I always do, as the regular kinfolk know. But if you're a newcomer, this is for you as well. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.
Game over.